5 Stoic Rules to Emotionally Detach from Someone. Practical Stoicism for Daily Life. Welcome to our channel. It's the Stoic era, where you find interesting and useful knowledge from the Stoic philosophers to lead a happy and good life. Love is the beauty of the soul. St. Augustine. Life inevitably brings us face to face with a hard truth. People come and go. We form bonds, create connections, and often invest deeply in relationships. But what happens when those bonds unravel? How do you manage the emotional burden when someone fades from your life, or when you realize they were never as emotionally invested as you were? You might wonder, how do I stop caring? Or, is it possible to emotionally detach without losing myself in the process? This is where Stoicism, especially the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, provides us with a valuable roadmap. The Stoics didn't shy away from emotions, but learned to master them, regaining control over how much they allow these feelings to affect their lives. Emotional detachment isn't about becoming cold or indifferent. It's about learning to respond with clarity, strength, and peace of mind. In this video, we'll explore 5 powerful Stoic principles that will guide you in emotionally detaching from someone. Using Marcus Aurelius's wisdom as our guide, we'll delve into practical steps for taking control of your emotions and transforming your approach to relationships, empowering you to face emotional challenges with strength and balance. Rule 1. Understand the impermanence of life. Marcus Aurelius profoundly reminds us, everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth. When it comes to emotional connections, it's easy to become attached to the story we weave about someone in our lives. We create narratives around their importance and believe that these connections are permanent. But the Stoic truth is that all relationships are transient. Just as the seasons change, so too do the people we come into contact with. One moment you might share your deepest thoughts with someone. The next they could be gone, whether through physical distance, the toll of time, or the fading of emotional bonds. People leave. This may seem harsh, but it's a crucial lesson in Stoic philosophy. Embrace the reality of impermanence. Understanding this principle of impermanence is vital for emotional detachment, and it aligns perfectly with practical Stoicism for daily life. When you accept that no bond, no matter how strong, will last forever, you free yourself from the pain of attachment. It's like trying to hold on to a handful of sand at the beach. The tighter you squeeze, the quicker it slips away. The more you try to possess something, the faster it fades. The Stoic approach encourages us to practice an iron mind, one that can withstand emotional turbulence without being swept away by it. This principle teaches us that clinging to people, or the idea of them, only leads to suffering. In my own life, I encountered a situation where a close friendship, which had lasted for over 10 years, slowly faded. We had shared everything: dreams, fears, laughter, and countless late-night talks. But as time passed, we drifted apart. Despite my attempts to hold on to the bond, I realized the connection was no longer mutual. It was difficult to accept, but once I did, I felt liberated. The emotional investment that once felt like a chain around my heart was finally released, and I could move on with peace. This experience mirrors Marcus Aurelius's wisdom. Things end, and the sooner you accept it, the less pain you will feel. By embracing the impermanence of relationships, you can live more freely, focusing on the present and cultivating emotional resilience. Applying Stoic principles in these moments teaches us how to emotionally detach from others in a healthy, dignified way. The key is not to mourn the inevitable changes in life, but to recognize them as part of the natural flow of existence. As Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Rather than clinging to what has passed, we should focus on making the most of the time we have now. Detaching emotionally from past relationships doesn't mean disregarding their value. It means recognizing that they served their purpose and that your journey continues. In everyday life, this Stoic wisdom can help us deal with the ebb and flow of relationships, especially when those bonds are tested. Next time you feel attached or emotionally tied to someone, remember that nothing lasts forever. Your true strength lies in accepting this reality and embracing it, for it allows you to live with clarity and peace. Life is too precious to hold on to what's fading. The iron mind forged through Stoic principles teaches us to detach with grace, allowing ourselves to experience the world and people as they are, without trying to own them. Rule 2. Master your emotions through rational thought. In life, there is a misconception that our emotions control us, especially when we form attachments to others. You feel the pain, sadness, or anger rising within you, and it feels almost natural, as though you are at the mercy of these emotions. But here's a profound truth often overlooked. Emotions are not reality. They are shaped by our thoughts, beliefs, and interpretations of the events that unfold. This was a cornerstone of Stoic wisdom that Marcus Aurelius and other Stoics held dear. Our emotions are not an uncontrollable force. Rather, they are within our control through the lens of our thoughts. According to the Stoic mindset, we hold the power over our emotional responses because our mind dictates how we react to the world around us. This is where emotional detachment begins. Understanding that our emotions are not uncontrollable waves that we must ride, but are reflections of the thoughts we allow to govern us. The mind has the power to either fuel the storm of emotion or quell it with calm. Consider a scenario like going through a breakup. The pain can feel unbearable, and your mind continuously replays every conversation, overanalyzing each detail. You start to ask questions like, "Why did this happen to me?" Or, "How could they move on so easily?" These are the kinds of thoughts that feed the emotional fire, but the Stoic response would be to pivot your focus to something more objective. Rather than letting your emotions run wild, ask yourself, what are the facts here? And how can I reframe my thinking to gain peace? The Stoic path to emotional detachment is to engage rational thought and not let your feelings dictate your perception of reality. When you experience emotional turmoil, especially in moments of disappointment or conflict, it's easy to fall into the trap of interpreting the situation through a negative lens. Perhaps you've had an argument with a loved one or felt ignored by someone you care about, and your mind quickly starts running rampant with assumptions. But the truth is, it's not the event itself that causes emotional suffering. It's how you interpret that event. Marcus Aurelius also wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts," reminding us that the color of our emotions is directly linked to the quality and direction of our inner dialogue. So, when you find yourself spiraling, remember that the emotions you're experiencing are the result of the meaning you've attached to the situation, not the situation itself. Take, for instance, a simple modern-day situation. You send a heartfelt text to someone important to you, and you wait for a response. Hours go by without a word. Your mind starts to race. Did I say something wrong? Are they mad at me? Do they not care about me? At first, it's just a twinge of concern, but as time passes, that concern turns into frustration, then anxiety, maybe even anger. But let's examine the facts. The only objective reality is that they haven't responded. Everything else, the doubts, the worries, the assumptions, is pure speculation. If we follow the Stoic path, we would challenge this automatic emotional reaction. Instead of allowing the mind to spiral into anxiety or anger, we pause and ask ourselves, what are the facts here? By recognizing that our emotional response is based on unverified assumptions, we begin to take back control of our emotions. This practice of mastering our emotions through rational thought is not just a Stoic ideal, it is a practical tool for daily life. It requires conscious effort to detach from emotionally charged thoughts and to replace them with more balanced, logical perspectives. By shifting from emotional reaction to rational reflection, you begin to regain mastery over your responses. This approach is at the heart of Stoic philosophy, using the power of rational thought to guide your emotional state rather than being tossed about by every fleeting feeling. As you learn to apply these Stoic rules in your life, particularly in moments of emotional challenge, you'll start to see a profound shift in how you handle situations. Whether it's a breakup, an argument, or any emotional turbulence, practical Stoicism empowers you to detach from the storm and find peace amidst the chaos. This is the essence of Stoic wisdom, understanding that we may not control external events, but we have the power to control how we respond, ultimately leading to emotional freedom. Rule 3. Practice negative visualization. At first glance, negative visualization might seem strange, even counterproductive. Why would anyone want to deliberately imagine losing something or someone they care about? Doesn't that just pile on unnecessary stress? But here's where Stoic wisdom transforms the perception. This powerful practice, deeply embedded in Stoicism and championed by the likes of Marcus Aurelius, is not about creating negativity. It's about preparing the mind to face the inevitable challenges and losses life throws at us. It's about mentally fortifying yourself so that the storms of life don't shake you to your core. Imagine losing someone close to you. Now envision that loss vividly. Feel the void, the absence. Does it sting? Absolutely. But, and this is crucial, the key isn't to dwell on sorrow. The key is this. By visualizing the worst-case scenario, you diminish its emotional impact when it inevitably comes to pass. Imagine the sting now, not later, and you prepare your mind, body, and spirit to remain unshaken. Epictetus, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. By facing discomfort in your mind, you rob it of its power to destroy you when the moment of loss arrives. The practice is not about fatalism or pessimism, but acceptance and resilience. The Stoics didn't shy away from life's challenges. They embraced them, and that's the secret to emotional mastery. So, what does this mean for you, in your life, right now? Whether in relationships, in business, or in any form of attachment, you need to prepare yourself mentally, not just for success, but for the inevitable moments when things won't go as planned. By actively practicing negative visualization, you strengthen your emotional muscles and build the resilience needed to stay calm, composed, and unshaken when life pulls the rug out from under you. The discomfort you feel when you picture loss. That discomfort is exactly the emotional armor you need. And when you master this, as Stoicismwin teaches us, you command your emotions instead of being ruled by them. You become a man who faces life's challenges not with fear, but with strength. You can take that power back. you can walk through life unbothered. When you train your mind to face the loss in advance, its grip on you weakens. Loss doesn't cripple you, it refines you. So, take control. Visualize the worst, and in doing so, watch how life's blows feel lighter and lighter. The power is in your hands. Embrace it. Let it be the foundation of your strength. This isn't just philosophy. This is practical stoicism for daily life. Share this mindset, feel the strength it brings, and take command of your life. Now, I want to hear from you. Comment below with a strong affirmation. I embrace life's challenges with strength. Let's keep pushing. Let's keep growing. Like, subscribe, and remember, true power comes from within. Rule 4. Focus on what you can control. One of the most empowering realizations in life is understanding the distinction between what is within your control and what is not. This concept, deeply rooted in Stoicism, holds the key to emotional detachment, especially when dealing with relationships. So much of our emotional suffering stems from our desperate attempts to control situations, outcomes, and other people's feelings, things that lie outside our influence. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said in Meditations, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Recognizing that you cannot dictate or manipulate the emotions of others, no matter how much you wish to, is the first step toward freeing yourself from unnecessary pain. It's vital to realize that while you cannot control how others feel about you, you have complete control over how you choose to respond. This is where practical stoicism for daily life comes in, teaching you to focus on what you can control, your thoughts, actions, and reactions. When we become emotionally attached to someone, it's natural to want them to feel the same way about us. But the Stoic principle reminds us that our attachment to outcomes is what often causes suffering. The more we try to control or change someone else's behavior or feelings, the more we intensify our pain. Emotional detachment in this context doesn't mean shutting yourself off or being unfeeling. It's about releasing the need to control the relationship's outcome and instead embracing the iron mind approach. This mindset enables you to weather emotional storms with grace, staying grounded despite the chaos around you. Detachment is the art of accepting the things you cannot change and channeling your energy into those aspects of life that are truly yours to influence. A key aspect of this practice is the realization that, as much as you may care for someone, their actions and emotions are theirs to control, not yours. The more you understand this, the easier it becomes to detach emotionally, freeing yourself from the burden of trying to make things fit a particular mold. In the words of Epictetus, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. In the same way, emotional freedom comes not from having control over every relationship, but from wanting less control over what others feel or do. In your own life, consider how often your emotional state has been swayed by the actions or attitudes of others. If you think about it, you'll realize that the only times you truly feel unshaken are when you stand firm in the knowledge that your worth, happiness, and peace come from within, not from external validation. By embracing Stoic principles, you're not trying to change others or expecting them to live up to your standards. Instead, you focus on your inner strength. This is a shift that demands practice and commitment, but over time, it becomes a natural part of how you navigate the world. Cultivating emotional detachment isn't about rejection. It's about embracing your own autonomy. In practical terms, this can be as simple as refusing to let someone else's behavior dictate your emotional responses. When faced with a challenging relationship or an unreciprocated attachment, the question becomes, how will you respond? Will you allow their actions to erode your peace, or will you hold fast to your own sense of inner strength and tranquility? By practicing emotional detachment in this way, you're following a time-tested Stoic path that leads to a more balanced, peaceful life, one where you recognize that your power lies in how you choose to respond, not in how others behave. So, take a moment to reflect. How often do you find yourself emotionally entangled in things outside your control? What would happen if you stopped trying to influence others' feelings and instead focused on mastering your own responses? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's discuss how embracing the Stoic mindset can help us all live a more peaceful and fulfilling life, free from the chains of emotional dependency. Rule 5. Reflect on the bigger picture. When you're deeply entangled in the emotions of a relationship or difficult situation, it's easy to lose perspective. Stoic philosophy, especially through the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, encourages us to take a step back and reflect on the grander scheme of things. Aurelius often emphasized that our troubles, fears, and desires are mere fleeting moments in the vastness of time. By adopting this broader viewpoint, emotional detachment becomes easier. Ask yourself important questions like, will this pain matter in 5 years? Does this person truly define my entire existence? Shifting your focus from immediate emotional turmoil to a higher level of reflection helps you realize that much of your distress is tied to temporary circumstances. Stoicism reminds us that no single person or event should wield such power over our emotional well-being. When you're overly attached to someone, it's easy to make them the center of your universe. Your happiness and self-worth can become entangled with their presence or absence in your life. But stepping back and seeing the bigger picture reminds you that life is ever-changing, and relationships, however intense, are just one part of your journey. You are a complete individual with your own path and experiences. In the heat of a breakup or emotional conflict, it may be challenging to grasp this perspective, but reflecting on the larger scope of your life helps you understand that you've survived emotional storms before. Life moved on, and so did you. Think back to previous relationships or moments when you thought your world was falling apart. Those wounds healed, and you became stronger and wiser. This is the natural rhythm of life. In my own experience, I once went through a painful breakup that felt like the end of my world. For weeks, I fixated on the past, feeling like the future had lost its brightness. But with time, I allowed myself to reflect on the bigger picture and realized that this person, while important, was not the defining moment of my life. They were part of my journey, but not my entire story. By zooming out, I saw the relationship as just one chapter in a much larger narrative. I began to emotionally detach. The Stoics, particularly Marcus Aurelius, emphasize the impermanence of all things, relationships, emotions, and situations. Everything in life is transient, and what truly matters is how we respond to these inevitable changes. By reflecting on the bigger picture, you cultivate a sense of inner peace, knowing that life will continue to flow regardless of your temporary attachments. This broader perspective allows you to emotionally detach, not because you stop caring, but because you understand that clinging too tightly to fleeting things only leads to unnecessary suffering. Emotional detachment is not about apathy. It's about understanding that life is much larger than any single person, relationship, or moment of pain. By seeing your life as a vast, interconnected web of experiences, You free yourself from the tunnel vision that emotional attachment can create. Ultimately, emotional detachment is not about shutting down your emotions or closing yourself off from the world. It's about building resilience and gaining control over how you respond to life's inevitable changes. The Stoic path offers not a quick fix, but a way to inner peace. By embracing impermanence, mastering your emotions through rational thought, and reflecting on the bigger picture, you will find that emotional detachment is an act of self-liberation. So, the next time you feel yourself gripping too tightly to someone or something, ask yourself, do I control my emotions, or do they control me? Emotional freedom awaits those who dare to let go. If you found value in this video, don't forget to hit that like button, share it with others who could benefit from it, and subscribe to the channel for more practical Stoic lessons like this one. Make sure to turn on notifications so you never miss an update. And hey, if you have any thoughts, feedback, or if there's anything you want to discuss about emotionally detaching or applying Stoicism in your daily life, drop a comment below. I'm always open to hearing your opinions and engaging with you. Let's build a community where we can learn from each other and grow stronger together. Until next time, remember to stay calm, stay focused, and never forget. You are in full control of your emotions, and the strength to navigate life's challenges is already within you. Keep walking the path of wisdom, and remember, a true Stoic man never loses.